day, everyone. I am Trill Jambinensa from BEd2A, and now I will be discussing the kind of taxes under the existing law. And here's my objective at the end of my discussion. You will be able to first define direct and indirect taxes, explaining who bears the burden of each, and second, identify and explain personal, pool, capitation, property, and excise taxes. Taxes are payments to the government that fund public services and infrastructures. Taxes came in various forms, each with its own characteristic and impact. Understanding these different types is crucial for business and individuals. Taxes can be classified based on who bears the burden and the subject matter. As to who bears the burden, we have the kind of taxes, the direct taxes and indirect taxes. As to subject matter or object, we have the personal, pool, or capitation tax and property tax and also the excise tax. Now let's move to the direct taxes. The direct taxes, it is the taxes paid directly by the taxpayer to the government. The person responsible for paying the tax is the same person who bears the economic burden to the tax. For example, in direct tax, we have it two: personal income tax and estate tax. For personal income tax, it is the tax on an individual's earning. So for example, if an employee in the Surigao del Norte pays an income tax on their monthly salary, then the estate tax. It is the tax on the transfer of property upon death. So when a deceased person estate is transferred to their heirs, estate tax may apply. Next, the indirect taxes. The indirect taxes also has the value added tax and the custom duties of tariffs. So the indirect taxes, it is the taxes collected from someone other than the person who ultimately bears the economic burden. So the tax can be shifted or passed on to others. So just like what I said or mentioned, the we have the value added tax or VAT, the tax on the value added to goods and services. So, for example, if a consumer in Surigao del Norte buys the product, the price includes the VAT or the value added tax, which the seller remits to the government. For the custom duties or tariffs, it is the taxes on imported goods. So, example, if a business importing goods into Surigao del Norte pays custom duties at the port. Now let's proceed to the as to subject matter or object. We have the three types: the personal pool or capitation tax and property tax and also the excise tax. Now let's start with the personal pool or capitation tax. It is a tax of a fixed amount imposed on each individual's residing within a specified territory. It is levied on individuals regardless of their income, property, or occupation. For example, the community tax or cedula, a fixed tax paid by every adult resident in a community. So for example, if an adult resident in Surigao del Norte pays or pay a fixed amount for their community tax certificate. Now let's move to the second types, which is the property tax. The property tax, it is a tax on the value of property, whether real or personal. The tax is proportional to the value of the property. So, for example, the real estate tax, it is a tax on land and buildings. So, for example, if a homeowner in Surigao del Norte pay a real estate tax annually based on the assessed value of their property. Then last, the excise tax. It is a tax on the specific goods or activities not falling under pool or property taxes. It is imposed on the performance of an act, the enjoyment of a privilege, or engaging in an occupation. For example, taxes on alcohol, tobacco, or petroleum products. So, for example, if a manufacturer of a alcohol beverage in Surigao del Norte pays an excise tax on their products. So that ends. Now let's move to the conclusion. For conclusion, understanding the different type of taxes is essential for compliance and financial planning. Each tax type has unique characteristics and implications for individual and businesses. Staying informed about tax law and regulations is crucial for economic success. And that's all. Thank you for listening.